So, you said you're 36 now.
36, yeah. Probably 37 in May.
Okay, how did you get into the prostitution business, I guess?
Escorting. Well, I was a roofer. So I did 6 years on the roof, carrying the bundles up the ladder. I was 180 pounds back then. I had 3 jobs. I was working as a store clerk, cash register. I was working at Diana's Greek restaurant on Josephine University as a waitress, and roofing. And you know, every week I had a nice home. I didn't own the home. I always rented, but I had a beautiful home with beautiful brand new furniture in every room. Every check I got went to furniture until my whole house was completely full of everything I could possibly need and want.
Wait, so you were working 3 jobs just to buy furniture?
Well, not to only buy furniture, to, you know, get everything I wanted and needed in the home.
Okay.
So that I was comfortable. Like, I had a pool table in my garage, a bar. Like, I had a boyfriend of 13 years. I started dating when I was 14, so I was 27. So, you know, we threw dinner parties a lot. So, you know, we just wanted, and I never did any kind of partying back then. Right. I drank, that was it. So, you know, we just wanted to make sure our house was fun for when our friends came over.
Right.
And nice, because I'm a no-CD clean freak. Everything has to be spotless. I'm crazy with that. So, yeah, my coffee table set alone was like $1,700, real slate. Okay. It was 3 pieces, that's it. But, yeah, so I just worked, and, you know, when you're not in the party life and stuff, what do you spend your money on? Nothing. If I spent money on food, I'd be 500 pounds. So I had every, you know, room brand new furnished. Then I got these cysts on my ovaries when I was 24, and they were really bad. They were really big. They were about 11 centimeters, like the size of a baby's head when it's born. So I had to take a leave off all of my jobs and have surgery. Right. So at the time, you know, I was paying for everything, and I had a boyfriend, like I said, from the age of 14. So, you know, I'm just thinking, you know, he's gonna take care of things while I'm off work. Well, no, I come to find out, like, you know, every week when it comes paycheck time, mind you, I'm off. Like, I had my stomach cut. When you're pregnant, you have your stomach cut. You have all that extra skin. Well, when you're skinny and you have your stomach cut, you can't even stand up straight. I had doggy stairs to get onto my king size bed. Right. Yeah, so I figured he would take care of the bills and whatnot, and I wouldn't have to worry. No, every week he had an excuse of why he wasn't being paid. In the meantime, he was working with my mom's boyfriend, doing roofs and stuff. So I went to my mom and I said, what's going on? You know, why every week is there an excuse? And she kind of like struck me off or whatever, and I said, I'm going to find out, you know, and I hope it's going to be in the good way, because I'm going to be pissed. Like, I don't have any income coming in right now. I can't work. Well, I come to find out, you know, a couple weeks later, she finally told me that he was addicted to some type of, I won't say what, but some type of drug behind my back. And that's why he wasn't able to come up with his paycheck every week, because he was spending it.
Your mom told you this?
Yeah, because he was working with my mom's boyfriend, right? So.
But, like, so your mom knew of your boyfriend's addiction and you didn't?
Either she knew, or at the time when I asked her, she started paying attention and figured it out, because it took her a couple weeks to tell me. Like, we've had our ups and downs. I can't say I had the best childhood, you know, and, yeah, maybe, you know, she shouldn't have done some things she's done, or hid some things with me, but I didn't have a normal mother-daughter relationship like other kids do, like,
But it seems like from outsider's point of view, it sounds like your boyfriend had some sort of relationship with your mother.
Well, no, just because, like, he was there. He spent a lot of time there. In the morning, he would go there, get picked up with my mom's boyfriend to go to work. After work, they get dropped off there. You know, he spent a lot of time there. So she's seen it. I'm wondering why every morning he's running out the door with his shoes on, or with his shoes in his hand, like, quickly, waking up and out the door. Not even getting ready or nothing. So I don't know if she knew, or if she, when I asked her, because it took her a couple weeks to tell me, if she started paying attention or listening or whatever she had to do to find out. Okay. I really didn't want to know, because maybe if she did know it, I would have been upset with her, but I didn't want to involve her at the same time. Like, this was something that was going on in my home, which didn't involve her. I just needed her to tell me or find out. Right. So, yeah. So that was the case there. So pretty much there is what, like, you know, set us in a different path to Because now we're 27. We got together when we were 14.
Right.
Never had kids. Now I can't have kids after that surgery.
Right.
So, it took about 3 years, but after that it wasn't the same. So 3 years later, I break up with him. We had 2 pit bulls at the time. They were Diamond and Tyson. I was only supposed to have one, but his family member bought one, the girl, and they weren't taking care of her properly, so I adopted her from them because I was a dog lover back then. So I kicked them out, obviously, because I was the breadwinner. I paid for everything. Everything was mine, and I kept the 2 dogs and tried to move on.
So after 13 years, like, bye.
Yeah, well, it's not that. The last 3 years were like, we knew it was like gonna happen. Like, it wasn't the happiest last 3 years.
So like for
By
3
the end,
years, he
we hated
was
each other.
like not paying you, and like,
No, he never. I always paid for everything.
Okay, but like you said, like a few weeks, he like paycheck wouldn't show up, but that lasted for 3 years.
No, I never, ever once questioned his paycheck because I always paid for everything. So I just thought, you know.
Why was that like always the case though? Like he never bought groceries or anything.
Well, his job, he was working one job, and it wasn't even an everyday job, and I was working
one
3.
job still gets paid, right? Like
yeah, but you know what? I was working so much at 3 jobs, I barely seen him. By the time I would come home from work, he would be in bed because I was working the corner store in the morning till noon, and then I would work on the roof till 5, and then I would go to my late night waitressing job till 2 a.m.
Why would you want to work this much though? Like, what's the?
Well,
like,
that's the thing. Like,
don't you think it's like not worth it to just have? Like you say all these
at
things.
the time, I was young. I was to myself. I was thinking, I had already gotten to drinking, and I seen how much I love drinking. So I said I have to keep myself busy, and I love new things. I love nice things. Like I'm a very modern type of style living person, and I like being able to just stand up and go buy whatever I want.
Okay.
Like I've always been that way. Like I've been on my own since I was 14. I left home when I was 14.
Right.
So I've never had rules or anything, and I've always had a job because I've always needed money.
Okay.
So yeah, I like shopping. I like clothes. I love clothes. I like to spend whatever I want. If I see something I like online, I just want to be able to buy it. I don't have to say, oh, I have to wait for my paycheck.
Okay, so you kicked them out.
I kicked them out, and I moved on. I moved into this house where I met a midnight shift garbage man that worked for the city at my Diana's Greek restaurant job, and he had a house for rent. I already was looking into this other house, but it needed 6 months before it was ready to be rented. So the lady said she would contact me within this, like after the 6 months when the people moved out and it was ready for rent. So I figured in the meantime, you know, instead of going to stay with my mother because I haven't been there since I was 14, I'll just go find a house that I can stay at for the meantime. So it was cheap. It was $600 a month. And I let him know, you know, I'm only going to be there for about 6 months because I was counting on her calling me. So I'm like, if things change, I'll let him know. But it was a 3-bedroom home. No upstairs, just the main level and a basement, backyard fenced in for my 2 dogs. It was perfect. It was on Lincoln Street. So I took the house, $600 a month, everything included. He was really nice. You know, I thought at the time he was nice so far. So I moved into the house with my 2 dogs, and I was really depressed. You know, after it was a big life change. 14 to 27, I was with this guy. And
yeah.
Now it's like, you know, I'm off work because I'm my surgery. I'm depressed. I started dabbling in stuff and playing and, you know, doing stuff that probably I shouldn't have been doing.
Like what?
Like partying and stuff, you know, like hanging around with the wrong crowd and just being stupid, you know. I had too much time on my hands, for one, because my mind never stops. I'm go, go, go. I never can sit down. If I'm at home, then I'm cleaning.
I mean, I thought like you were like you weren't able to work at that point, right?
Yeah.
So how were you partying?
Like it's not like I was going out partying. I was like dabbling in drugs and stuff at home.
Like just partying by yourself?
No. It's my friends would come over. You know,
I see.
Come over to keep me company because I can't really do much, and you know, do a line or whatever. You know, stuff like that.
Right.
Not active partying, just like
passive partying.
Yeah, like you know, stupid stuff. Just stuff I probably shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
Stuff I seen my whole entire life growing up, and I just, you know. But like I said, I had too much time on my hands, and I was depressed. So,
might as well.
Yeah, not might as well, but that's just what it ended up being. And It was like 5.5 months down the road. Everything was fine the whole time living there. It was a beautiful home. So a lady called. She said the place was going to be ready, and the house I was waiting on was a beautiful backyard, but a very small house. But I had the 2 dogs, so that's what I wanted. But I had this beautiful gazebo built off the back of the sliding glass door off the kitchen. So I thought it'd be cool, to sit out in the sun and stuff and watch the dogs play. So it's the night before moving day. I have everything packed by the front door. At this time, I was on welfare too. At the time, I was off work, so that's how I was paying my rent and stuff, because I've been on work. But it was the night before the moving, and my mother called, and my mom was a partier, so she was too messed up to go visit my brother, who was on mushrooms, tripping, and apparently, punched himself in the head in the bathroom at his apartment. And my brother, he's 6 years younger than me. He owns his own house now. He has 3 kids. He's always had a job his entire life. He works at Ford's. So, he's always been, probably more mature than me. He graduated grade 13. So he doesn't really party too often. So he dabbled in these mushrooms and tripped right out. And so she was too messed up to go take care of him. So I went. Thank God I had the surgery, so I was still healing the scar. I was having troubles because, like I said, I can't even cough or stand up or laugh. So I took a cab over to my brother's. I was there about 3 hours. I did a couple lines of stuff with him to try to wake him up, to try to sober him up off the mushrooms, because it's very hard to come out of mushrooms when you don't want to. It's a long-lasting drug.
Right.
It's very hard to come out of a psychedelic with another drug. So I didn't know what else to do, and I was not probably in the proper state of mind as an adult trying to help my little brother by offering him more drugs, but that's the only thing I could think of to sober him up.
Yeah.
So, it kind of sobered him up, but 3 hours after being there, I felt really sick. It just all of a sudden came on me. I was something just hit me. It was oh my God. It felt in my body something bad happened, really bad, and that my body could sense it. It was so, I can't explain the feeling I got, but it was something was telling me, it was go home, I gotta go. All of a sudden I felt really sick, and I felt out of breath, and I don't know, it was weird. I was I gotta go home. I feel like I have to go home. I have to go now. So, and this is the night before I was moving. Everything was packed by the front door. So it's 2 a.m. by the time I got home. I got home, and I took a cab there and back. So I took a cab to my brother's, and I took a cab back home. Thank God. When I got home, the door wouldn't open. And it was summertime, so I had all the windows shut and locked. And I never let the dogs in the basement because the hot water tank, they always used to run around it. So I always thought if I left them down there, that they would be playing and running around it, and that they would hit it and it would explode or something stupid. So I always had the kitchen door shut, which leaded to the basement and the back door. So the door wouldn't open, and I didn't know why. I was using the key. I didn't know what was going on.
The key wouldn't turn, or what?
The key was turning, but the door was stuck.
Okay.
So I'm strong. I'm a strong girl. I shouldered the door a couple times. It didn't work. I had my girlfriend with me. Because my stomach still wasn't fully. I had her boot the door. As she's booting the door, I'm using my shoulder. When the door flew open, all the smoke came out. The house caught electrical fire while I was at my brother's and killed my dogs. Because 2 wires behind the kitchen wall got hot. And when the fire department came, they found out it was knob and tube wiring. It was not up to date.
Okay.
So when I got the door open, it was melted shut. The fire had already put itself out. Nobody even in my neighborhood knew my house was on fire because everything was shut, so they'd never seen any smoke, and it didn't grow as big as to blow the windows open. So by the time I got home, I was gone for 3 hours. Everything was done. gone. I didn't have any house insurance because I only planned to be there for a short period of time, and I just never thought that would happen to me. Like, I don't smoke cigarettes. Like, I used to smoke for a while, but I don't smoke and leave cigarettes. Like, I just never thought that would happen. I'm a clean freak, so I never thought anything like that would happen to me.
Right. It's wild shit, though, right? Like,
yeah, when the door flew open, my first dog was at the door dead. He was trying to get out for probably most of the time because he dug a 4 feet deep hole into the real wood. It was a real wood floor. He dug trying to get out at the front door, like 4 feet deep. My dogs were only puppies at this time. They were like at 2.5 years old. Brother and sister, blue and red nosed pit bulls. So I pulled them out. I was trying to give him CPR on the front porch. He was already dead. And I'm calling for my other dog, Diamond, the girl, the sister. She's not coming. She still has her cone on her head from her surgery because I got her fixed. Because my first dog died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes around him. So I said I'm going to make sure I do everything right with these dogs. So they were all fixed. They had all their shots. She still had the cone on her head. And when I used to come in the house and I used to yell my boy dog's name, Tyson, his ears would literally curl in a circle. It was so cute. So when I was calling for the other dog, she wasn't coming either. So I had my girlfriend try to do CPR on my dog. Well, I ran in the house and everything was still hot from the fire. So I kicked my sandals off and my feet had blisters, like huge blisters on them from running through the house. Like everything was charred, gone. Like I lost everything down to everything. I have nothing left. The only thing that survived was the washer and dryer that was in the basement. And that day, my mom told me to put the dogs in the basement too, because it's cooler down there. Because it was a big house that I didn't have central air. I was using air conditioner. So, and I said no because of the hot water tank. So I kind of trapped them up there because I closed the kitchen door. But when I called for the other dog, she didn't come. So I ran in the house and I'm looking all over and it's kind of cloudy and smoky in there. And I'm overwhelmed at this point. I just did a couple lines with my brother. My heart's racing. So I found her at the door, the spare room door, which was, there's this bedroom right when you walk in the house, there's a bedroom in that dining room. Then the second bedroom in the living room area was where the dog was by the closet door that leads to the attic, trying to get in the attic. So they both died. The news came. When's the news? I was on the news. Like I said, I didn't have money at the time, so the Humane Society was holding my dog's ashes back because I didn't have money to pay for them. They wanted like $800. So somebody on the news seen my story and anonymously donated the money to have my dog's ashes cremated in special boxes and sent to me. I really wanted to thank the person, so I contacted the news, which they weren't supposed to give out the information, but just considering the situation, they did. I begged them, I bugged them all week, every day of the week, because I couldn't take the money not knowing that I didn't tell a person thank you. So they finally three-way called. They wouldn't give me the number. They three-way called the person, and they got him on the line. I thanked him for donating the money for my ashes because they weren't going to give them to me, which I think is very stupid. Who can afford that after a house fire? Like, I think, what does it cost them? You know what I mean? Why they're going to throw them in the garbage? Why can't they just give them to you? It's a lot of money. Yeah. So we donated the money. I got the dog's ashes. 6 minutes before it aired on television, this guy Dylan Christie, he's on the internet. He posted a thing saying, dogs cherished while girl fell asleep while unattended cooking. Because I used to heat up my coffee water in a small pot on the stove. He never even knew or looked close enough of the stove knob that was on the off way when it was melted. He just seen the pot on the stove when he walked through the house and did his little whatever he does. So he jumped to conclusions And I was freaking out because I had to go to vet's cab. Thank God I took the cab, because I had to go to vet's and get the cab report on the cab that I took to my brother's and back to prove that I wasn't home. And 6 minutes before it aired on television, the fire department, you know, they did their investigation and said that it was because of the electrical, the wires, and that if he didn't take the post down, that he could be charged. So he took it down 6 minutes before it aired, because that would have killed me even more if they aired that on television. That I fell asleep while cooking and killed my dogs. What the hell am I cooking in a pot this big? Like, you know? So now I'm supposed to move into this house the next day. I have nothing, no dogs, no nothing. It was prepaid for 2 months, first and last on top of that. I never went to the house. I couldn't. I was so upset from the dogs because they were my life that I just went and stayed at my mom's, and I didn't come out of the room for about a year and 8 months. I just was crying every day. I miss my pets. So I never went to the house. I got my last month's rent back, and I just let them keep the other money. I was so beyond money at that point. I was so hurt. Like, I didn't even have one pair of clothing or socks or anything left. So why move into this place? And not to mention, like, the house is so small. I got it for the dogs, really. Like, that's the whole reason I was gonna get this house. So I just went to my mom's and I just stayed in her room. She waited on me hand and foot, you know, food and stuff. I didn't really eat at first, but when the fire department and everything came, my heart rate was 270 over 120 because of the cocaine and the shock of the whole situation. And I was refusing to go to the hospital because they wanted because of my feet and my heart rate. So if I didn't go to the hospital right then at that moment, then they were going to arrest me because they felt like I was going to have a heart attack at the high rate of my heart rate. And plus they needed to bandage my feet because of running through the hot smoke, whatever, floor. So obviously I went to the hospital because I don't want to go to jail. I never been to jail at this point, and I've only ever been once in my life. It's not fun. So I obviously went, but I didn't want to let go of the dogs because I was still sitting on the porch with them in my arms. So I decided to go, and I called my mom at this time, and she wasn't home. Just her boyfriend was. I told him what was going on. I called him right away when I called the fire department. They didn't live too far from me, so he ran from his house to my house. And he was with me when I found the dogs. So he was with me on the porch till my mom, we could get a hold of my mom. And my brother, I called him to tell him too, but I knew he was still coming down. He didn't really want to be around police and fire right now.
Right.
So when my mom finally was let know what happened, she came to the hospital. And every time she walked, like, I was on a machine by then, every time she walked into the room, my heart rate would skyrocket because I'd get so upset because she would be upset because they were like her dogs too. So anytime I had to go somewhere, she would babysit them for me. So I wasn't allowed to leave the hospital until my heart rate got down to a certain thing. So every time my mom came in the room, I'm like, leave! Because you hear the machine go up, and I'm like, go! I want to get out of here. And I can't, because just the look on her face was devastating. So I just told her to stay out of the room until my heart, and I didn't even feel like my heart rate was fast. I felt normal. But the machine was saying otherwise. I was there for about 4 hours. And then, when I walked to the hospital, my mom's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, what can I do? He's like, just take me to your house. The next morning, we went back to the house and tried to get whatever was left over of the fire. Like, if there's anything that could be salvaged, there pretty much wasn't. Like, there was nothing. Like, because of everything being packed by the front door, once the pile started catching fire or smoke damage is just as bad as fire. Especially in wood too. You can't get rid of that. It's like so soaked in there. So everything. Only thing I could take out of there was the washer and dryer, and that was the only thing that I didn't have fully paid off yet. Go figure. Everything else was fully, because I got it all from Tupperman's under payments through my grandma's name because she had good credit there. So yeah, that was the only thing not paid for, not paid off yet. So after that, after staying in my mom's room for about a year and 8 months, I never knew anything about suing. You know, that's heard more in the States, I guess. But I never, thought of anything at the time. My mind was so devastated that it didn't even clue into me. I was young at the time. This was like in 2012.
So this was like a place you were renting, or you
Yeah,
owned it?
I was renting. I was just living there for 6 months till the other place, till the other landlord called me to let me know that other house was ready. Right. And this guy worked for the city. He was a carpenter for the city. Yeah. So I thought, he's an honorable guy. That's why now I know, and especially in this business, you don't really know somebody, even if you meet them, even if you hang out with them, you don't really know a person deep down.
Right.
So, after the fire and after staying at my mom's for about a year and 8 months, I start coming back to reality, starting to think, okay, what am I gonna do? I can't live at my mom's. It's just it was all overwhelming. It was a lot of changes. Like I said, I just broke up with my boyfriend for 13 years a few months before that. Now he's mad at me because I let the dogs get killed, and so much was going on in my head. I was so depressed. I started partying really, really hard. I started using oxys, Dilaudid, hydromorphs, and then I was sniffing them at the time. Then I started shooting them, and I was just going on a big bender. I was so depressed. I just didn't want to. Every time I thought about the dogs, I just cried, and I just wanted to stop thinking about it. I never ever thought about committing suicide or nothing stupid like that. I didn't want to die, but I just wanted the hurt to stop. And I figured the only thing that was going to do that was day by day, more days away from the actual situation itself. But it didn't get any easier. Just if I see a dog walking down the street, remind me of him, It was just, it never got out of my head. So I just started partying really, really hard, going out to the bars with my friends and just using a lot of drugs and just being dumb and wasting money. And so
money you didn't have.
Money I didn't have. Yes, I was only on welfare at this point, but right before the house fire, I met this guy at the restaurant I was working. He was an ex-prison guard at the old jail, and his wife was a 911 dispatcher, and she got hit by a drunk driver, so her mind was like a child again. She would eat dinner, and 5 minutes later, what's for dinner? She would ask me, and she just kept buying. She'd have certain items she would buy, impulsive buy, she had 100 packages of toilet paper. She started not hoarding new stuff though, bringing stuff in the box and ordering this stuff online, and she got a big settlement. So when the couple would come in to eat at the restaurant, a couple times before the fire, he had asked me, because none of his wife's friends would want to hang out with her anymore because she's completely different. Right. So he would ask me if I wanted to go to the movies with them and stuff, and sometimes he would give me money, and he dropped me and his wife off at the mall. We go shopping, $500. And it was, at the time, it was awesome because So after the fire, he helped me a lot. He gave me $25,000 in 8 months time. Just gave it to me
to hang out with his wife. Or
no, at the time I was so depressed. I only hung out with her 3 times before the house caught fire. But because I had nothing after that, he told me, he's like, at the end of every month, Jess, email me send me an email of a list of stuff you need, whatever you need, down to your tampons, whatever you need. He's like, I'll come meet you. We always met in the park near my mom's. I'll come meet you, you know, we'll go for coffee, go sit in the park, and I'll bring you the money for it. He's like, I know you're going through a hard time. Well, that money kind of helped my drug habit start. Right. Because I was so depressed, like, so yeah, in 8 months' time, he gave me 25 grand out of, I'm assuming, the money she got for her thing. So he called it the Jesse account. He had a separate account for me. So he helped me. He did help. Like, it did pay for my living, to my rent, like all kinds of stuff. Because at the time, when I would get my welfare check, I would spend it on partying too. Right. So I was giving my mom rent money and, you know, grocery money. I can't live there for free. So I would give her a little, every time I seen him, I'd give her a little bit of money to pay weekly. Easier for me to pay weekly than to pay it all at once at the end of the month, because I wasn't very good at saving money or using it wisely back then. So yeah, he gave me 25 grand in 8 months, and it helped me a lot. It really did, and I thank him so much. This is before I ever even started thinking about ever working. So at the end of the 8 months, he kind of spurred on me that he's like falling in love with me. What? Okay. To me, I'm like, what the hell? Like, you know, we never touched each other, nothing like that. And he has a wife, which he took a leave of absence at work to take care of her, because it would cost him more money to pay for somebody to take care of her as opposed to him leaving work early. Right. Because he was already up in his age. So I'm like, I'm not that. In my head, I'm like, I'm not that person. Like, I'm not taking this guy away from his wife. What does he think he's gonna move me in the house with his wife? Like,
how much older is he then?
He was like, he was close to his retirement at the old jail.
And you would have been like 20 something.
Yeah. That's, in this day and age is nothing but a number. Trust me. Okay. It's crazy. I never thought I knew crazy until I started doing this business, this industry. Right. It's crazy. And just behind that door is crazy. You never know. You never really know. It could be the person that works at the phone company. Like, right. So crazy. You never expect.
So you were saying this guy like said he's falling in love with you?
And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like I don't get it. Like what do you expect? Like I was so confused because no talk of this was ever said, and we've never ever even kissed. Nothing was. I've never seen him naked. Nothing. I've never changed him for him. I was shocked. I was blown away. So I didn't talk to him for I was like confused. I didn't know what he expected out of me now. Like, do you expect now that he gave me all this money that I'm gonna now that he owns me or something? I was young. I was I was naive to the fact I wasn't smart like I am now, street smart. So I didn't know what to do. So I just went about it as thinking in my own head of what he thinks instead of asking him. And I'm just thinking that, hey, this guy thinks he's gonna leave his wife for me or something, and she needs him way more than I do. She's, you know, what happened to her. Right. Like, I'm not gonna be that girl. I'm not gonna be that girl that takes her husband away from her when he's everything. He's her everything. Right. So I stopped talking to him. I didn't answer any more emails. I stopped taking money from him, because now I'm thinking, you know, he's giving me money because he thinks he's gonna own me, and like, I'm like, no, this is not. Right. So I stopped answering his emails, and that's the only way we contact each other. So about 3 weeks after I stopped talking to him, he calls my mother's phone. Okay. Because I've called him from the home phone before, so he still had the number. And I got home, and my mom's like, I'm not gonna say his name, but my mom said that he had stopped by, and he dropped something off for me. Well, when my mom opened the door, there was a puppy standing behind the door. He had bought me a 140-pound American Bulldog. Okay. Yeah, he bought me another dog. So I was like blown away. Like I was excited. I was happy because he knew how depressed I was, but I couldn't tell if I was scared because now there's just 3 dogs under my belt that have died. Right. So like I don't know if I have bad luck or what the situation is, but there's a big cute dog behind the door. It was so cute. So I named him Snoopy, and I kept him. And yeah, I started getting on my feet again. I started working at McDonald's Muffler as a secretary. I was working every day but Sundays, working my butt off all day, every day. And I got an apartment. After about the dog, I didn't accept any more money from him. I didn't contact him back. The only thing I did was I sent him an email and said thanks for the dog, but we can't see each other anymore, and you can't give me money.
Right.
So I said I really appreciate the dog. And then yeah, I got an apartment. And one time, it was like 4 years after I got the dog, I was really tired from work. Like, I was working 5 days a week, long hours. My girlfriend was sleeping over, and I told her. In that 4 years, my mom watched my dog, my bulldog, while I was gone for my birthday, and I told her not to walk him at night. She had the leash wrapped around her arm. He ran to see a skunk, and she couldn't get the leash unwrapped off her arm. He knocked all of her teeth out by the root. Her face hit the curb, my mom. Well, I told her not to walk him at night and not to walk him down the alley. And not to wrap the thing so much to the point where if he takes off, you don't have time to get it out. Because that's what she used to do, and I said, that's stupid. Well, she didn't listen to me. Now I'm gone out for my birthday, gone for the weekend. I call her, check on the dog. The dog's gone. She woke up 4 hours after it happened on the side of the road. It had knocked her out when she hit the curb and knocked all her 4 teeth out by the root.
Right.
So, yeah, 4 years later, sleeping, my girlfriend decides she's gonna walk the dog because he's barking like crazy. Same thing happened. She couldn't hold him. He took off after Skunky got sprayed in the face. He caught a disease. Jaundice, they call it. I woke up and he was in the bathroom, and then 4 days later he turned yellow, and I had to put him down because he didn't have a proper shot. So when the skunk sprayed him, they're very dirty. It gave him a disease because it sprayed him right in the face. His whole body turned yellow.
Right.
So I lost the fucking dog.
Another one.
The 4th one, I said no more. It was so crazy. And when I woke up, she had him locked in the bathroom, and I could see his eyes look different. I didn't know. I told her not to walk him too. I said nobody can handle this dog. Nobody can handle him walking. If he sees a cat or skunk, he tries to run. He's 140 pounds. He slept next to me in bed, and he would take over more of the bed than I would.
Right.
He kicked me off with his feet. It was crazy. So yeah, the dog died. I spent $4,500 in the animal hospital. Is this the house?
I'm not sure.
Oh, what's the address? Do you know? I can call him from your phone if you like. If we don't find it.
Do you have his number?
Yep, of course.
Fuck. So, I think we're gonna have to keep the rest of the video for next time, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay. It's long.
Yeah.
My life is crazy.
Yeah, your life is crazy.
That's a small portion.
I don't know when we're gonna run into each other again.
Okay.
Yeah.